this one. Rick, you're on via phone and the video, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Dwayne, as soon as you get 6 o'clock, your meeting is streaming so the public can do it. And Barb, it's recording for you. So as soon as you get 6 o'clock, it's all yours.
Okay.
And then everybody else, Mike, and well, here, let's just unmute you guys. As long as we don't get a lot of background noise, we'll just leave
Okay, we'll
everybody
call the service meeting to order at 6 p.m. on July 27th. Roll call.
Are you waiting on roll call?
Yep. Roll
Yeah.
call.
Okay, Moeller,
Present.
Cosgray,
Present.
Foreman. Present.
Okay. Also, we have in attendance Mayor Nicodemus, VA, and physical officer. And I think also Chuck's on there. I'm not sure who else. Anybody got anything for the goals? The unaccounted water, I&I, water line, streets, cemetery, pool, anything on those items?
Just on, I guess I have a real quick question, because Terry, I haven't read through your whole report yet, or if I did, I missed it. On the goals was the pool, and we're halfway through the summer. Is that coming up, an update on when the work on the leak is going to start?
We're going to talk about that. That's correct.
Okay.
When Dwayne asked for my report, it'll be in it. But don't we have to have a motion to accept the minutes right now?
Oh, you know what? I went right past them because I went down to visit.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. I have a motion to approve the June 22nd, 2020 meeting minutes.
Foreman moves that we approve them as written.
Cosgray, second.
Foreman and second by Cosgray. Roll call.
Okay, Moeller, Cosgray,
Yes.
Foreman. Yes.
Okay. Okay, and then anybody else anything on the goals? We'll talk about the pool here after a bit. Okay, let's go ahead and get on into the report.
Okay, well, we'll start with the metrics, page 1, the water treatment report. As you can see, things are running along pretty well. I focus you on the bottom left-hand quadrant of that. We had a larger space between our treated water and our billed water than we've been having. But if you notice, if I reference you back to June of last year, it's about the same. So we have, Missy and I and Joy talked today. We contributed to, number 1, we had a water break that month. Number 2, we have been selling a lot of bulk sales. So Missy said today we've sold over 3,000, which we equate to 150,000 gallons of bulk water sales. That is not included in the billed amount that is shown on your sheet. So that would account for some of the difference. So we have been, and third thing is we have been doing some flushing towards the end of June and now into July. So we figured that's what the difference is. If you notice, the previous months before that, as anticipated, the usage was going up because more people being at home, but this was a little below that. We'll keep an eye on it. Next to it, the bar graph, you'll notice that Joey has maintained just about the same difference between his raw and his finish for May and June. So it's going along pretty well for the water. Any questions?
Hey, Terry. on
Yes.
the- Sorry, I didn't know if I jumped over someone, sorry. On the water usage, the raw treated versus billed, since we're doing a lot of bulk water, because when I looked at that, my first thought was, do we have more people than we realize have illegal, bypasses to get some water or something? Is it possible on the build, we could make that a stacked portion and add the bulk water as well so that we can kind of see where we're at, a more accurate depiction of water that's being purchased?
Right, and we can do that, and we need to do something like that for this graph to be relevant. We can't do any problem analysis if we know that we have some variables out there. So yes, we talked about that today, so we'll focus on that.
All right, thank you.
Terry, do you consider that bulk water probably because there's a lot of people having pools now? That
Yes,
maybe they got.
I absolutely do. It's
So,
a lot faster to fill the pools if they get bulk water, and we've been focusing them on buying bulk water instead of, because a lot of them want to use the hydrants, and it's not something we want to do. So I agree, Dwayne, that's what it is.
Okay.
I'm just curious why the build amount would drop. I mean, that looks like it dropped like hundreds of thousands of gallons.
Well, we're not sure, Rick. That's what we're saying. That's what we're going to keep an eye on. We'll be looking at that data point. Again, Missy and Joey and I met on that Thursday and Friday, and again today, to try to figure out why that's down. If you look, however, straight across from that, January and February usage is about the same, as well as July and April of last year. So it's not what I call an anomaly. I mean, it has been that way before. What does that mean? Does that mean some people are going back to work? It's hard to understand that, but we'll keep an eye on it and try to figure out what's going on there.
Okay.
But it's on our list.
Okay.
Okay, page 2 on the back. Again, you're going to see over in the month of June some things you haven't seen before. There were 3 days that we installed the membrane. So during the membrane installation, we did not process. So of course, those have on both graphs have fallen down. But the other thing that Joey and Brad and I talked about last week and again today is that in the bottom graph to the right, after we started back up, you'll notice that the water that Brad's treating and Joey's finished water is closing the gap. Now, what I'm thinking about doing is doing a pop out by month by day so you can see it a little better, because I think that's important to see clearer. This way it's strung out with over, a year's period of time, and this way it'll kind of give you a better look at what's happening. Because as you notice, prior to the membrane installation, that space between what Brad's treating and what Joey treated is larger. But you'll also notice on the other page that the rainfall has not been there. So obviously, this is going to be a good barometer for each time that we make a change to any stormwater to see how it impacts this graph. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Questions? Okay, now I'm going to page 3. That's a wastewater monthly report. And again, as you can see, the rainfall has been down, only 2.36 inches. Now I said to Brad, well, Brad, if I would say you still got 2.36 inches, where did it go? We talked about the climate. So in other words, it's been very, very hot, very humid, and the ground has been very dry. So even though we got the 2.36 inches of rain, that doesn't mean it got to us, because most of it would have been absorbed in the ground just because of the dryness. If you remember earlier when we got that 6.83 inches in March, we had too much water because the ground was so saturated it couldn't hold any more. So this is just a reverse of that condition. So, while we are down some in the rainfall, you would think that would show up in I&I, but we really do believe that it is the environment, the heat, the dryness, and etc. Questions on that?
Mm-mm.
Okay, then page 4. This is the utility report. I wanted you to notice again that the bar for the June original, which is the first time Missy puts out the list, this is a very original amount that's due. It was down for May. Now you would say, oh, the June blue bar, which is the bar after payments have been made. And I usually have her pull that the Friday or the Thursday before service so we can see payments. You'll see that's higher than it was last month. Well, during our conversations today, she said she received a lot of payments this weekend. So I go back to saying what I stated last month. While we're seeing a very large list of delinquents, we're also seeing a slow pay. So that list is coming down, but it's just coming down slower than normal, and we'll continue to keep an eye on it. Onto the right-hand side of that graph, you will see that 95 letters were sent out to village residents. Those were residents that were on the delinquent list. This is just telling them that the EPA has waived the restriction of being able to disconnect services. And that was for July 11th. We opted to not start disconnections for non-payments until August 17th. So everybody that was on the delinquent list that was in that red bar got this notification mailed to them so they were aware of what's happening. So again, I think it's just another slow pay month. I think we're in good shape compared to others that I talked to, other entities in getting payments. You'll notice over into the right-hand side, I did for June show you how much of those blue bars makes up just 3 categories, and that's vacant houses, payment plan, and duplexes. If you remember, we had a project going where all the duplexes had to get on individual external shutoffs, and there are approximately 10 duplexes that have not completed that task yet. So they will be receiving letters yet coming up soon this month that they need to be aware of the fact that they are bound to, they need to change over to the single shutoff external. We do have 2 people in April who asked to go on a payment plan who were delinquent, and I set up a payment plan. I'm sorry to say neither one of those people have made a payment. One of the things I want to try to do is at least give those the options of being able to make payments like that. We had a person out on Holder Road that did that. He made every payment and got his past balance caught up. So it's a program that will work. We just have to have everybody on the same page. So if those on that list, part of the letter was to say, if you cannot pay your bill and you need a payment plan, to give me a call and we would set you one up. So to date, those letters went out Wednesday or Thursday. I still have not received any calls, but I look to get some this week. So that's my utility report. Any questions?
Hearing none, move on.
Okay, great. Then I want you to reference the project timeline. It's the one that has the arrows above the line and below the line. An explanation of this timeline that you're looking at is that everything above the line in green are projects that have been completed. Those that are circled in orange, we've either started or they're ready to start. So Westwood, we did a couple of things, still waiting on a PTI. OPWC went out to bid, so that one's well under the way. Holders, we've already identified a vendor. They are supposed to get back with me with the start date. Tim did talk to a couple of the gentlemen at ODOT when they were down doing the bridge last week, and they said they heard that Shelley was a couple weeks behind. So I did email one of the vice presidents and ask them to give me more of a date that I could share with Holder residents so that I can send them a letter of start. So as soon as I get that information, we'll create a letter and send it to the people on Holder so they know what's going on. I anticipate that they probably will be done at the end of the 256 project. The other two are wastewater treatment plant projects that Brad and team is working on. Below this line, you will see 9 projects that we haven't started yet, and also the reason why we haven't started. One of those is what the mayor just referenced, and that's the pool repair. We haven't started that because if you remember, we had taken money, the income that we were, percentage that we were giving to the pool and moved it over to the general fund. So the bid to fix what we thought is wrong with the pool was over 35,000, which we will have to move some money back in there. Brian just texted me just now. He said he lost connection. So when he comes back in on, maybe he can update us, but I'm looking at, finding the money to do that and getting started. Again, that's not something we would do internally. I want to have a professional person come in and do it. So that is this project timeline update for July. Any questions? As you can see, the team has really gotten a lot done for as small as we are. The next thing I want to go to is the project report that says Village Administrator Council report. This just gives you an idea. I'm not going to read through this, but it gives you an idea where we are on each project and how we are stacking up to being done on time. I want to reference down to the pothole patching. We are finishing up South Main Street this week. We have a spot still in front of the marathon that needs to be patched, and we're looking at Wednesday or Thursday, depending on the weather. We will shut off the egress and ingress on Fairview for any through cars, but they'll still be able to get to the station, the gas station through Fairview. Tim has already talked to the gas station, so they're aware of it. I'm going to ask the mayor to put something on his Facebook page and on the website, not sending out letters because I feel as though the residents can find another option for leaving their homes. The other thing I wanted to talk about is, if you remember a couple of months ago, we talked about paving alleys. And one of the conditions council had said is we only want to pave or only want to repair through alleys. One of the alleys that has been in desperate need of repair since I've been here is the alley just east of Main Street between Cliff and Elmwood. No, Mulberry. Get my streets here. That had a really bad dip down by where our sewer manhole cover was. And this week I had the team go in and fix that. We have a new business, as you all know, on that Main Street, and they use that back entrance. So I did repair that alley in case anybody says, well, they're out fixing alleys. Any questions on that report?
Hey, Terry, real quick for the posting, it's just Wednesday, the 29th from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m.
6:30, yeah, I would say 6:37 too. They're in today. They should be done by 3:30, 4 o'clock. It shouldn't take any longer than that because the temperature isn't going to be like it was last week where we had to, let it set up a little longer because of the humidity and heat.
All right, and access to the business will be maintained off of Main Street?
No, Fairview.
Off of Fairview.
Yes. So they can come down Fairview, they can travel east on Fairview, they can go into the gas station that way and then out of the gas station that way, but they can't enter on Main Street.
Okay,
All right, are you with me?
got it. So Fairview remains open to the business, but it's literally closed right there at Main Street.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. My last document I wanted to share with you tonight is the one called Business Continuity Plan, Pandemic Staffing Backup Plan. Cases are rising in Fairfield County. sadly. We met as a team last Wednesday to double make sure that we all know who is going to back up whoever, if we would have to quarantine. We even did narrow down to smaller teams, meaning especially the street team. Peg and Kyle now work out of the old firehouse. They don't even go to the street barn. That way I can keep them segregated from Tim and Tyler in case something would happen. I thought that was a good suggestion that came from staff. Everything else I think is pretty self-explanatory. So if you have any questions after you read this, please let me know. But this is the latest and greatest for our backup. And Mr. Mueller, that is all I have in the way of updates.
Okay, does anybody anything else for Terry on her report?
The repairs on Marathon, is that blacktop repairs?
Yes, if you remember, we had a really bad leak there. And as everything settles, it just doesn't, it has to settle down and then you have to go back and fix it. So we did a number of repairs there. This time we're going to roll, we're going to apply and roll the cold patch on it and seal it. This should be the final repair that we have to make there.
Because it looked like to me like they did that today.
No, they work further up from there, Rick. We had numerous spots on South Main Street.
Yeah,
So,
they did 2 of them right there today. So I
Right.
think
Well, they
they're
worked
done,
on
from what I've heard.
sidewalks also.
Okay.
So
Okay, it looked to me like they got those done today, but maybe I'm wrong.
No.
They're right there.
yeah,
It's where
no,
that
they
big
were working
split
on
was in
sidewalks.
the water line.
I'm sorry, please.
Where the big split was in the water line.
Yes,
That,
the really big one.
that got
And
blacked out
I
today.
asked them to hold off on doing this until we could give the residents at least a 24 to 48-hour notice that we're shutting something down. So they have not did this, and again, it will be Wednesday, weather permitting Thursday. Weather
Okay.
not permitting Thursday.
Okay.
And then that
was-
should take us off of South Main Street.
Okay. I was just there a few minutes ago. Okay.
Okay, well, Terry, just check into it and we'll go from there.
Oh, I know it wasn't done. Yeah, so it's good.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Check into it and if it's not done, we'll get done. Parks and Rec Board.
The Parks and Rec Board will not be meeting until August, but we had kind of a email touch base today on the legislation that is before that's before council tonight about the ATVs on the park property and in the parks. And I shared with everybody, everybody then except for Mr. Walters has emailed me back, Dr. Johnson, Brandy, et cetera, and they all are in favor of this ordinance. So I think that is something that one of the council members asked at the last meeting as to what the Park and Rec has to say. Again, our next meeting will not be until August.
Okay. Anything for the BBRC? Any report? Update.
Mr. Foreman, do you have anything?
I was unable to make the last meeting, so I have nothing.
Okay, I know they did have an offsite meeting, an offsite brainstorming session. And I'm not sure whether I got those notes yet or not. So they are working on 2021.
Yeah, that was on a Saturday, so that was a bad day.
Okay.
Okay.
Old business, annexation.
The one annexation that, or we're waiting on 2 of them, one north of town, one south of town. The one down by the high school on South Main Street, that has not been scheduled by the commissioners yet. Jeff will have a better briefing and an update in council. Also, he was going to reach out to the gentleman that is up north on Lancaster Cookersville Road because there were a couple of issues with the survey.
Okay.
Okay.
I have one old business that we had talked about.
Okay.
I'm just curious. I don't know where we went with it. And maybe it was because it's on here. I see it. Did you get anything back from Mr. Inskeep up there on Ballsville?
I'm sorry, again, please.
Mr. Inskeep up on Ballsville about the right away there at 121 Ballsville Street. Mr. Inskeep was wanting us to vacate that right away.
Terry, Dwayne, you're breaking up a little bit. Terry, he's asking about the Inskeep
Oh,
at 121 Basel.
Okay. Inskeep is in the hands of legal right now. Jeff is talking to his attorney. So nothing to comment on that at the moment.
Interesting. Okay. I don't have anything else. Anybody else got any old business?
No, I'm good.
New business. Anybody got any new business?
I think the guys have enough going on. We don't need to pile on to it.
They're doing a great
wow.
job. While we have a couple of minutes, I would like permission from you. If you remember when we put Kyle on, Kyle was just to do mowing and trimming and nothing else. He only has a couple weeks left with us before he leaves for the summer. I was wondering if we have been, and I don't know if Brian's back on or not.
Yeah, I'm back.
But we have been watching our dollars really well, and there's still quite a few dollars still there to pay him. So I would like to use him on doing some patching as we're in between these projects, if everybody's okay with that.
Yeah,
I don't have a
Cosgray
problem
here.
with
I'm okay with it.
Good. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's fine.
If no one else has any new business, and nothing else for the committee, our next meeting is scheduled for the fourth Monday of August, which is August 24th at 6 p.m. I would say meeting is adjourned at 6:26.
Good deal. Let's see. Bob, is that you on?
Yes, I am.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. It's popping up your phone number, so I'm going to rename that so we know who you are. All right. So Mike's on, Bob's on. Chuck, you're still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
So Bob, I know we said 6:45 or immediately following service, and service is over, so. I don't see the chief on yet, though.
Yes, Mayor, I'm here. Mayor, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Chief.
Chief, say it again.
Yeah, I am on.
That's the chief, Mayor.
Oh, that's the chief. That's not Rick on the phone.
Rick, your voice has changed.
This is me on the phone.
Okay, I got that one labeled correctly.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm having trouble with my devices, so I'm on my phone. I'm being stupid this week. Sorry.
When we get to my report to council, I might have.
So yeah, this is me.
Okay. All right, so chief is on. So
Yeah.
Bob, whenever you're ready.
I'm ready. You just do the roll call, Brian.
Okay, Hamilton,
Present.
Hankinson,
Present.
Keller,
Present.
Also, we have the mayor, Terry, police chief, and physical officer, correct?
Yep.
Approval of the June 22nd, 2020 meeting. Minutes, excuse me.
This is Hankinson. I read through them. I didn't see anything wrong, so I make a motion that we approve the minutes of the 22nd, June 22nd meeting.
Keller seconds.
Keller seconds. Ryan, could we have a roll call vote on it?
Yeah, Hamilton,
Yes.
Hankinson,
Yes.
Keller,
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Goals of 2020. We haven't had any accidents anybody knows of, have we?
No, sir.
Thank you. Replace or repair missing or worn village traffic signage.
That'll probably, that probably will start up again in the fall. Right now, we're too busy.
That's what I thought. I had a note of that. Monitor streetlight issues and report them to AEP.
Right, we had one issue reported last week, and I'm sorry, I don't remember where it was at. So that's the first one we've had for a long time.
Okay. And 0 fatal accidents in the village. So, Terry, the only thing we left was your report. And that's under, yeah, reports.
Okay, the only thing I had to report out for safety is that there probably will not be a BWC refund coming our way like there usually is. Our monthly meetings, safety meetings, have been virtual and do not count as credit. And other than that, that's the safety training front. The only other thing I have to report is that we did get for the request on Yenser for the handicap parking place for her uncle. We have identified, we have all the materials and everything, and I'm not sure whether Tim got to that today or not. So that is almost a done deal. And that's all I have.
So just so I'm clear, so we get a refund for attending safety meetings.
Yes,
And everything has to be virtual, so
Yes.
we can be safe to attend our safety meetings, but the virtual meetings don't count and they haven't changed that rule yet.
correct.
Is there any chance they're going to change that later on?
Oh, everything changes every day.
Okay.
Welcome
We'll
to
go
my
along with
world.
Because I can't imagine we'll be the only one calling to complain about that.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Chief Tussey, it's all yours.
Okay. We're obviously concerned about being out in the public, a lot of direct contact. We're still doing as many reports as possible from the phone. And again, one of our big concerns is because we come in contact with so many people, we don't want to go into somebody's house, even with our mask that we have. Currently, we're doing really good on the PPEs. We have a pretty good stockpile. I just got a notice that we have some more that we're going to get picked up tomorrow. Terry, I don't know how you guys are stocked, but once we get these picked up, I can probably move some of those over to you if you need them. We have car 2 is completely back in service now after the damage. We got all the striping back on it, so it's 100%. We are looking at equipment we need for training. We just ordered training taser cartridges tonight, as a matter of fact, to get that done. We're really kind of behind the 8 ball on this training because a lot of this is things that we would normally do at remote locations, and those locations are closed down, so we can't do it. We're trying to get together some kind of a matrix for in-house, but the problem with that is a lot of the stuff that we're supposed to do is hands-on. So needless to say, that makes for some difficulties also. We still have 2 officers out due to COVID. They are not infected, but their doctors have advised them that they should not work during this time. We worked with Terry on the problem with the trucks that were parked across from the paper mill, and it looks like that's taking care of itself. We've been monitoring that. We have not seen any issues. We are still writing citations for trucks crossing the bridge. There's obviously signs as soon as you turn on Water Street off of Market, and more signs at the bridge. And, I almost need to record all the excuses because some of them are pretty hilarious. Other than that, we're moving along. We've been extremely busy with felony cases. I think a big part of that is because people are home together extended periods of time. And other than that, I think that's all I have.
Approximately how many citations you issued down there by that bridge, Chief, or for the bridge?
I would have to be quite honest with you, I'd have to look to tell you to be sure. But
Okay.
we have a zero. The officers have been told it's 0 tolerance. You cross the bridge, you get a ticket.
Okay, no problem there. Parking ticket fees. That's still tabled, Terry?
Yeah, I think that's on me. I gotta
It's
get,
on the mayor.
that's on me.
Sorry.
I need to put a reminder because it's one of those things that when I sit down to do it, it'll only take me a few minutes or an hour, but I keep forgetting it until I look at the safety agenda. So we'll put a reminder on there and I'll work on that.
And I think the Chief's already covered the Water Street traffic problem, pattern violations and citations, correct?
Well, on that, we were talking about a potential increase of the citation price. A standard waiverable traffic ticket is usually about $120 to $130, depending on the court costs that are associated with it. And we talked about potentially increasing that. I just looked up what Violet Township did with their no trucks, no through semis, no through trucks on Wagram Road and a couple of the other roads to kind of combat the Amazon truck issue they have up there. And a truck going up one of those roads, a first offense is a $250 fine. And then it is a $500 fine for a second offense within a year. And for a third or more offense, it is a $1,000 fine when it occurs. So if we wanted to talk about increasing fines, there's at least one other, government entity in the county that has a slightly higher truck-related fine. That would put at a first offense at $250 for that fine. That would put someone's total with court costs somewhere in the neighborhood of $300 to $325 total.
What
So
was that
go at-
exact amount again, please?
The exact amount of the fines in Violet Township?
That we probably should look at, right?
Well, it's $250 for a first offense, $500 for a second offense, and $1,000 for a third and every offense thereafter within a calendar year.
Is that something that you say we should go to? You think we should go to?
I think we should, because right now, a lot of truck drivers, and I'm sure Bob will tell us that, they get a speeding ticket, they'll pay $400 for an attorney to go in, make sure they get no points on their license, pay whatever fine is necessary. But when you start getting into, hundreds of dollars for the fine, and you're talking $300 plus with cost for a first offense and over $1,000 for a third offense, then it starts to get people's attention. So it's something I think we should do.
Is that about the only place in town that an offense like that could be written on?
We could, kind of following this model, put it at where Canal Road comes into the village by the railroad tracks. Our ordinance says there's no through trucks right there, but the county won't put the sign further back. So by the time someone gets in, it's too late. But if a couple of truckers get a ticket there and word spreads, it might start to solve that problem too.
Okay. I'm in favor of that then.
Bob, Chuck, what do you guys think?
Well, I'm waiting for Bob to say something. He's a truck driver, but since that reason I was kind of holding still for a man. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it either. I just seen, boy, that's awful high, but I'm not a truck driver. But the only thing I would have to say, you know, I'm sure all these truckers got GPS. When you drive down the road and it tells you go to paper mill, does it take you down 158 there on Water Street, or does it take you 256 and past the bridge? I don't know.
Well, my gut is it probably does a little bit of both, because I think the one that I called into the chief, the guy said his GPS took him there. But, you know, they keep running into the bridge. So the you know, pessimist or whatever in me says, I don't really care if that's what their GPS says to do. They're supposed to follow the street signs. And if it says no through trucks, go somewhere, turn around and find out how to get there. Your GPS will recalculate.
Hey, Mayor, this is Bob. Have we had any repeat offenders on any of the truck routes?
Not that I'm aware of, but I don't see the dockets or the tickets. Chief, do you know if we've had any repeat offenders? And I'm going.
No one has said anything to me about that.
Okay.
So
So the word is getting out, it looks like.
Yeah, I think the truck drivers are spreading that, and if I can add something to that also, Deputy Chief has contacted Google and has told them that there's an issue with them routing people down Water Street. He sent them the GPS coordinates. He sent everything they requested. So they're supposed to be changing the GPSs when those auto update, that it will no longer show them to go that way. Now, we haven't got any confirmation from anybody, but that's been probably 2 weeks ago he did that. So we're trying to be proactive. Again, you know, we're not out here trying to ring these guys up, because ultimately they get enough points and they lose their livelihood. But again, on the other side of it, we can't have them down there busting that bridge down.
Yeah, that's my point too. I know times are rough. I hate to see someone, but if it's not something that they do day in, day out, and I'll make the motion just so we can take it to council and just see what the rest of the council has to say. So I'll move that we increase the price on the citations for the traffic going down Water Street, or any place for the truckers. I'll put it that way.
I'll second that.
I was waiting on you, Bob.
Okay. Go ahead and do your roll, or are we going to have to discuss that? So what is the current cost now before court fees?
I don't know off the top of my head. I know from experience, most waiverable traffic offenses are set at like a $25 fine plus court costs, which would put it in at about $120 for someone to pay. Chief, do you know off the top of your head what the waiverable amount is on that particular one?
No, Mayor, I don't. I know it's a moving violation. So it would be standard, whatever the moving violation would be.
So yeah, Bob, it's probably $25 plus the court costs.
I guess I would be thinking, since we don't have a lot of repeat offenders on this, maybe with court costs and everything, it might total up to maybe 200 instead of costing them 350. What do you think, Chuck?
Well, yeah, I kind of thought 300 was kind of high too, but that's the reason I was hoping maybe taking the council, maybe we can. But yeah, I don't have a problem with it. You know, I don't think anybody wants to get a ticket, and you know, times are tough. You know, everybody's trying to make a living. And, you know, you take $300 out of somebody's pocket. That's a chunk of change. So yeah, I'll go along with that, Bob. You know, that's. You know, you're a truck driver. You know, a lot of times you get into a bind, you can't turn around. You hope you don't get caught, which that's not a good excuse. You know,
I've been there.
I figure you have, but you know,
Yeah,
I hate to
sometimes
say,
there's no place to turn around. That's like somebody coming in Canal Road. If it gets to the railroad tracks and it says no through trucks, you can't back to 37.
no.
That's pretty tough.
Well, my thought is yes, $300 might be high, but you can avoid that by following your traffic devices. But Terry, how much did the bridge cost us to repair?
Yeah.
So that, I mean, that's the converse, guys. It might be $300 off of someone, but if they keep going through there and they take the bridge again, it could be tens of thousands of dollars for us again.
Can you separate that where we put a sign up, it's, you know, a $300 fine to cross this bridge?
Yeah, and in fact, we would have to, because it would be different than the standard fine. It would, if passed, if we did like a $250 fine up to $1,000 fine, we would have to put a sign underneath of it that says, you know, minimum fine $250 up to $1,000, right below the no truck signs. So they would be told.
I would even think that would probably do more good than making it $350. But I have no problem raising up some, because the other is kind of low for, you know, since inflation and everything, since we've enacted the other laws. So we can take the council and come up with a amount.
All right. And well, since we're just talking about it today, we could bring it up at council tonight, and then Jeff can prepare the legislation for the next council meeting for it with whatever we talk about tonight. And then when we get to council the next time, if we want to talk about it more, obviously we'll have a couple of readings to be able to do that.
Sounds reasonable.
Is there a way to add that fine amount to the bottom of the sign like they do handicap parking?
Yeah, Rick,
I thought might be.
yeah, I think I saw your connecting audio right as I was talking about that. So if we pass that, we would have to post that sign of what the fine would be so that they would clearly see no trucks and here's your fine.
Yeah, I've been fighting technology for 2.5 hours, but anyway, sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay, one other question. Just say they go down, they go and they come to the bridge and they see that $300 fine, and they turn left, go up past the fire station, up past the schoolhouse to try to turn around somewhere. Do you want them to go up that way too?
Well,
Or try to turn around.
keep in mind, Chuck, there is also a no through truck sign at the corner of Water Street and Market Street. So
Oh, is there? Okay,
yeah, so they will have gone past a set of signs before they ever get to the signs.
got to the bridge. Okay, I guess I never saw that sign, but you know, I go to the post office
Oh, yeah.
sometime. I guess I don't pay attention. So, okay.
It's a big sign.
Oh, is it? I guess being a trucker, you look for them. I don't.
It's there.
I think, Mike, you still need a vote on your taking it to council.
Okay, I had one other question
Yeah.
on that. Since the county don't want to put anything out on Canal Road,
Mr. Hamilton, it's not that they don't want to put it out. The county can't limit commerce, traffic. We in the village can, but the county cannot. So it's not that they don't want to, they just can't. They legally can't.
can we legally put one out there then?
No.
We can't put one out there. Now, if Walnut Township passed an ordinance, if they have home rule powers, which I don't think they do, that could be a possible way. But no, the furthest out we could put one is right at our village limit.
So we're back to the railroad tracks again then. All right. Let's get the roll call vote on that then. We'll take it to council.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Keller,
Yes.
Hankinson,
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. New business is 2020-19, the prohibiting of unlicensed vehicles in village parks or other village properties. I think we chewed on that last week for a good while, or last meeting for a while.
Right.
We
This is
did,
in
it's on a second reading, but we
second
want,
reading tonight, but somebody wanted to put it on safety agenda for further discussion.
just, just in case we wanted to have any further discussion, because we have some time. And I knew most everybody would be on.
Right.
I have no problem with it.
Like I said, I did get the input from everybody except Dr. Walters tonight, but they're all in favor of it from the park committee perspective.
Okay.
So when you guys talk about unlicensed vehicle, you talking like four-wheelers?
Right, this would be a four-wheeler or one of the Gator type vehicles, something like that.
So you're saying that if I got a license tag on my pickup truck, I can drive it through the park?
What?
No, if you have a license on your vehicle, then there are other ordinances which prohibit that. The problem is we don't have
Okay.
any to deal with unlicensed vehicles.
Doesn't the BYA have a gator? BYBA?
They might. And that's something to consider is if the sports leagues
I
have them-
think they own a gator, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, but I bet they use they don't use their gator probably to drag the ball field. That's probably what they use it for.
Right, I'm just saying, we just said they can't have their gator in the park and it's there
Well,
for the park.
Well,
There's a difference though of using it for maintenance.
Oh, I
or
understand. I just
Yeah.
trying to.
going to the
here's how we get two birds with one stone, since we have a problem with some park users' compliance with what we want, which is to attend a couple of meetings a year. We can very easily grant an exception to those sports groups that have a gator and use them for their sports.
Yes.
But they have to attend our parks meeting that we want them to attend, and if they don't, then they can get a ticket.
Yeah,
I don't think that's the targets that we were going after.
Oh,
If
I
those-
understand it's not the intent. I'm just saying
Yes.
that it's really hard to differentiate. It really, really is. And I know what I'm trying to target, and I'm all for that. I just have trouble understanding how you differentiate.
Well, and I
There's
think-
a section, I believe, in that talks about a vehicle being used for maintenance.
Yes.
And that would, if they're dragging the park with it, that's maintenance. Now, just for clarification, those vehicles are absolutely illegal to be on a roadway, period. The only caveat to that is if it's used in the performance of a business. And really what that's written for, it's written for people that use them in agricultural business. But the operation of that vehicle on a public street or highway is illegal.
Let me pull that up real quick. That's 19, I believe. But yeah, I mean, Rick, you got a valid point. We don't want to unintentionally harm the sports leagues that use them appropriately.
And I don't think anybody seeks to do that. I'm just saying that the people that are doing it inappropriately are going to say, well, they use one there. What's the difference?
Right.
Yeah, but I think to the chief's point, they're using it, for maintenance, because the sports people are some of the ones that I got complaints from.
Oh, I believe that wholeheartedly.
So right in 2020-19, in the language being added, vehicles accepted from this provision shall include public safety vehicles, vehicles and equipment used for maintenance and or repair of public facilities, any vehicle in emergency, or vehicle and equipment used with permission upon the request of the chief. So I think the sports leagues, we can get both ways, make them come to a meeting so that they can tell us what vehicles they have and attend a meeting, so that we know that it's used for maintenance and repair of the parks. And I'm sure the chief, if they come to the meeting, will grant them permission to use them for the next year. And that way, if someone gets a ticket for this and says, well, I saw, so-and-so on a gator the other week on a Saturday afternoon. Hey, it was part of the baseball tournament that was going on. They were using it to pick up trash or maintenance, and you were doing donuts in the park. There's a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
True.
So in other words, they have to be authorized before they can ride it in the park.
Correct.
So any unauthorized, unlicensed vehicle is not allowed in the park.
Correct.
Okay.
And this would also, that exception would cover the festival in the fall, because they rent a couple gators and stuff like that to get around, and golf carts. It would.
Well, they're off.
Yeah, it would exempt them out as well, so that they could continue to use their gators and stuff like that for the festival.
So that's already got the, so that's on, up for second reading?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
I think the big ball diving's out there at Alt Park, and I don't know where they drag the one over at Johnson's Park anymore or not.
I don't know.
All right. Next meeting will be scheduled for the fourth Monday in August the 24th at 6:45.
Do we have any new business?
Whoops. Sorry.
Other new business, I should say. I mean, I don't, but I figure.
I don't have any.
Okay. Hearing none, then we'll go back to August 24th at 6:45 for the next safety committee meeting. A motion for adjournment.
So move.
Second.
All right.
All in
All right.
favor?
Well, we got a half hour, so I'll keep the meeting running. I'm going to pause the.
Hey, Terry.
Sure.
Terry, this is Bob. Have you guys flushed Fifth Street,
Cliff
the water
Street?
line? Yeah.
It's our intent, but you'll hear in council why we kind of halted the flushing right now. We have an issue, so.
Uh-oh.
But we are, Bob, that is on my list to flush, yes.
Yeah, it's got some bad odor out of the cold water side, so
Okay,
it's not out of the hot water side like Dwayne had mentioned in the other council. It's out of the cold water side.
That's on this side of the town also, Terry.
Okay,